Uh, what's up, Spikelings? It's me, the reason you wake up in the morning, aspiring Spike, and welcome to my Shark Typhoon. Dominaria United might not be officially out in paper yet, but it's already good. It's already going strong on Moto. Today we'll continue to explore all the possibilities it opens up with Leyline Binding. Can the new cards make an impact, or we go back to life total control in a few days? Stay tuned to find out and support the stream with like, comment, sub, support sponsors. Most importantly, ... Thank you, Chess. Good morning, everybody. We're playing Blue-White Control, Leyline Binding. We talked about this a little bit. Nothing super duper crazy, but there's some interesting deck building decisions to go over. Leyline Binding, my pick for the most impactful card to Modern from Dominaria United. It is a 6-mana enchantment that costs 1 less for each basic land type among basic lands you control. So if you have your Rogran Triumph, your Watery Grave, and your Breeding Pool, this card costs just 1 mana. I think this card is going to be costing 2 mana on turn 2 a lot of the time in this deck list that is playing 11 fetch lands, which is a lot more fetch lands than Blue-White Control will usually play. And in order to make room for that, I'm playing like 5 basic islands as fetchable targets. Most Blue-White lists just play 4, but I think just having those like basic lands to fetch and not run out of fetchable targets in the late game is really important. And so I'm not playing any man lands or Odawar either in order to just have like a ton of fetchable targets to make the mana base work for Leyline Binding. I think Leyline Binding is great. I think like extra answers to cards like Teferi, Murktide Regent, Omnath, Wrenn and 6 is very, very important and impactful, and I'm excited. I'm excited. It's Living End. I think you really want to hedge your bets for the 80 card decks, which we are currently playing against right now. With a hand that is interesting, I do like that I can get double domain online really quickly. I do like that I have a lot of card advantage against the 4-color deck. I'm going to keep. Go to Mold to 6. Yeah, Prismatic Ending also, yeah, for sure, better. I think adding Tauren. Yeah, what is Tauren? I didn't see the Saffron Olive video. 2/2 training. Whenever you cast a creature spell, make a 1/1 green and white human creature token training. Interesting. This could also maybe be a Pioneer deck too. But you don't have White Man Light, you don't have those like white pitch cards, obviously. I haven't talked about the Undoing version today. I generally don't like that version very much, to be honest. I know the C-Flex, it's obviously like, you know, somewhat playable. I'm not saying that it's not. You have Aviary Mechanic? Does that basically do the same thing? And there's no 1-mana Soul Sister in Pioneer. Thank you, Johnny. There is? Yeah, maybe this is going to be a Pioneer deck. We'll see. Okay, let's go grab Watery Grave and counterspell this. Opponent only has 3 cards. I only have 2 lands though. I need to draw like runner. Counterspell is like the best spell we could draw at least. Whenever another creature is bad for your gain 1 life, disturb, flying. Wow, that card's actually great. The card's actually great. Wow. Cathedral Monument to pay 2 life to make a token. Yeah, and the idea is if you have like 2 Soul Sisters in play, it's infinite tokens. Or that if you have Soul Sisters in your deck, you're gonna have made so many tokens you won't mind paying a lot of life. Oh, it's Yorion Rhinos. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's Yorion Creativity. They only have 4 permanents though. Is there any world where I let this resolve against 4 permanents? It's like so risky, but the payoff is so high. And they have 2 in hand. And like, the Glimpse is only getting better. If I counter this and they just have another Cascade spell, which they're like pretty likely to do because they play 12, it is so risky. I feel like I could just let this go. Yeah, look at this. They only have 1 land now. Obviously, like I got like really like rewarded for this, but again, it's like if they just have another Cascade spell in their hand, that like it's gonna be a glimpse for 5. It's gonna be or a glimpse for 6 if they have like Colony Garden, you know. Just counter. I think I like letting it resolve. They play 12 Cascade spells in the Yorion version. It's only 4 permanents. I think I think this was fine. Leyland Binding the Reef now. Really lucky. Yeah, for sure lucky, but it's like I think the logic of like they just play so many Cascade spells, and like if I think that like this is I only have 1 counter spell. I think this is like the way to win this game. Okay, let's cantrip this. Yeah, and we have Leyline to answer like 1 problematic permanent. We have Solitude too. We don't have as a 3rd land. Maybe we should play 25. I did consider playing 25. I could Solitude this now. I think I will, actually. To be fair, this looks like bait with only 4 permanents. Yeah, it easily could have been bait. And now if they, now that they're slowly rebuilding to another Cascade spell, I still have this counterspell in my hand. Okay, there's a land. Thank you, Marv. Human soldiers. Any card from Return to Ravnica or Gate Crash, I'm just in. I'm just in. There is a like new angel soldier that's like 6 or 7 mana. That damage a creature player can know of creatures you control. I don't know if that's better than Foundry Champion as like your preeminent captain cheat into play creature. I have not personally gone through every single Pioneer Legal human, and if you're going to build this deck, that is of course what I recommend doing is just go through the list of every single Pioneer Legal human, Pioneer Legal soldier, and see if they're if that's the thing that you think is the best to cheat in. That's fine. I will say that you're playing, I think, too many red sources. Like I think you could get away with like playing maybe 4 Sacred Foundry, or also like playing zeros, playing a pain or sorry, not a pain land, Pathways, Forges. Yeah, playing Painland over Shocklands is wrong. Shocklands are better than Painlands. But like I think you could even get away with just 4 Pathways, maybe like 4 Pathway, 2 Sacred Foundry or something like that, and then playing Deafening Silence over Alpine Moon as what is maybe a better sideboard card against Lotus Field, and you can just like not play Tajik. I don't really rate Tajik as being a important card to play, to be honest. I want to trade Leyland Binding and a note to cut. I would recommend like looking at cutting some of the removal spells that you already play. I like Sun Gold Sentinel. That card's pretty cool. You can even maybe main deck that one. I think this looks pretty good. I want to change the mana. I want to play no red cards on the sideboard, and I want to play like 4 Pathway, 2 Sacred Foundry or something. I'll come play Deluge or Shadow Prophecy. I don't know. Like I think that Shadow Prophecy is an exciting card. I agree with that sentiment. I think that it is also overrated to some extent, where three mana draw spells that cause you to lose life in Modern can be very dicey, especially when we're playing a more painful mana base as we are. Card draw spells that cause you to lose life in your control deck are also much riskier than I usually like to play. I have double Exalted going. Yeah, but like, yeah, like it's like if you play two, if you know, we only have one, but if you play multiple Shadow Prophecies, that's 4 life you're losing when you cast this, which can really add up in a control deck. And also like Shadow Prophecy in a deck like this that is not utilizing its graveyard is also something I'm less interested in. So they only have 1 card in their hand. I think I had Teferi Hero. Bryn, B1, BR, thank you for the tier 1, appreciate you. How to build a mana base of modern without fetch lands? I mean, it depends on like what the deck is for, right? If I was trying to build mana bases on a budget, which I've done a few times, I try to just play like monocolored decks. You know, mono black, mono blue, mono red. What do you think about Hallowed Moonlight as a sideboard card against Rhinos, Living, and Creativity Ephemerate decks? It would be a fine sideboard card. I think that I am really interested in being like one of the only decks in the format that can play Rest in Peace. This helps you against Living in Murktide and a few straggling strategies. I think you could also you could bring in like one against the Traverse version of Omnath. Damn it. 80 cards, by the way. Guess I just need to rip a verdict. I think it's worth jamming soldiers and humans together when Pyramid Captain and the New Lord aren't humans. I do think it's fine. At least in Pioneer, where when you say jamming humans and soldiers together, what you're really saying is, can I play Thalia's Lieutenant in my soldiers deck? And the answer to that is like a resounding yes. Okay, so they're gonna kill Teferi, they're going to put me to 5, and I'd have to top deck Verdict. I don't think there's any other card that gets me out of this. Binding is really good. Binding is really good, I think. You know, it has a cost to your mana build, a mana base building, but okay, they're gonna play around like March of Otherworldly Light or Solitude. Yeah, that is true. They do have a higher chance of seeing the Cascade cards. There you go. Also get to buy Yorion here. All right, I will concede if this card here is not a Supreme Verdict. Yeah. Tough stuff. Tough stuff. So up against Glimpse combo. Oh, we also have 4 Chalices. So 4 Chalice, 2 Dovin's Veto. Dress Down seems decent. Even like Dress Down into Verdict seems pretty good against them. Narset might be fine. Dispute might be fine. Voices from the Void might be fine too. Definitely gonna cut these endings. And go down on Solitude. I bet they have Teferi. We're getting the Disputes. Also hits Reef. Can be awkward to have 2 Verdicts rotting in your hands. I think I can trim 1. Maybe wait 3 Binding, 3 Solitude, 2 Verdicts. Play 2 Dress Down. I really want to Voices of the Void them too. It's probably not good enough. Binding might be a little dangerous from our side because they clear it if they get their trigger again. Oh, they only clear it if they clear it. They clear it if they get their trigger again. I guess I'm confused. These are the Japanese Strixhaven kind of spells. Is Voices just a mirror breaker? This is for the 4-color Omnath matchup mostly, but you can also bring it in, I think, in a couple of other spots. Like the mirror, like potentially Tron, potentially Titan, potentially like Red Greenscape Shift, potentially most combo decks. But it is mostly a sideboard card for 4-color Omnath. And we are playing against a 4-color Omnath deck, but obviously a very different version. They play their own Bindings and Foundation Breakers so they can kill our Bindings, get back Reefs and Omnaths. That's fair. I mean, binding opponents' Bindings seems pretty good. But maybe, yeah, maybe I should be doing like a 4-2 split in favor of Solitude here. How do you think Farewell perform in Modern? I think 6-mana sweepers are completely unplayable, even if it is the best 6-mana sweeper ever played, printed. Alright, pretty good 6. I want to keep 7. Hopefully that upkeep stop they've got goes away at some point. The former good 6 months, thank you. Yeah, rest in peace, Black Bar, huh? Finally defeated. I set my normal alarm this morning, and then I set an alarm to defeat the Black Bar. Domain online. How do you feel with the results regarding Is It Breach last weekend? I've been saying for a long time that Breach is like a very good and underplayed deck. I think Breach is nuts. I think that Corey, Ross, and Jesse are great. I've been saying this for months and months and months, and that like the modern metagame is like pretty open, but it's like it had largely gotten stale for like because people had just kind of stopped like trying. I feel players like kind of stopped to try to like metagame and innovate, and they just kind of for a long time it felt like they picked Omnath, Murktide, Creativity, Living End, Yawgmoth. It didn't try anything else, but you know we're seeing goblins and we're seeing the Breach deck become more popular, and I really feel like the format's been like open this whole time. It's just like it looks like they have Violent Outburst. They just like haven't like players I think just kind of gave up to some extent, you know. Okay, with Force of Negation in our hand, I think I'm definitely jamming this Jace. Is Breach just not a deck I like to play? Yeah, so this is a very common kind of question, right? Where I will say that a deck is good, and people ask why I don't play it. But that's what I like to focus on this stream is trying new things and trying to innovate and trying to deck build and trying to push the boundary. And I feel like the last 4 months have been like some of the best like deck building I've ever done, and I've been able to like pretty successfully do that. But this stream is just not, I fire up the challenge winning list and I just play the deck that I think is currently the best in the format. Have I ordered my 4 bindings? I haven't ordered any Dominaria cards. I should have. I've just been busy, I guess. I hope I don't need them for this weekend's tournament. What do you think about Grixis Phoenix with Creeping Chill Murktide? I think calling it Grixis is a bit of a misnomer, because is it with Creeping Chill that it's never casting, it has like no black lands. Ooh, great draw. That being said, I had some pretty major deck building errors. Like playing I feel like in any Arc like Phoenix deck in Modern, like you have to play 4 Faithless Salvaging. Salvaging is really, really good, and it's the best enabler for Phoenix. And the list only had 2 discard outlets for Phoenix in the whole 75, and they were Thrill of Possibility instead of Salvaging. I also think it is an issue to build the list like that's like all in on, or like mostly in on Murktide, all in on Murktide, whatever. And we can just binding their binding if we want to. Countering this is also probably fine. I could save the binding for like a threat that they play. Dude, binding is nuts. And being all in on Murktide is like really tough, and all in on the graveyard is really tough in this format where there's a decent amount of graveyard hate, and basically every player is packing like some way to kill a Hardcast Fury. Dude, Leyline Binding is insane. Leyline Binding is just insane. Like the fact that they get to go 1 mana, force the counterspell into into Hardcast Fury is nuts. I like binding. Yeah, binding is interesting here. I was just kind of thinking I could save binding for like an Omnath or something if they double spelled. No, I'm just in such bad shape. The Phoenix deck better went to the challenge red, told people not to play the deck. Yeah, I you know, I thought it was kind of interesting. It was like it was an interesting build for sure. Oh, man, I guess I should probably binding the Reef. Yeah, it does seem very good in their deck. I wonder if like you could play Founding the Third Path in a Phoenix list with Creeping Chill. Get some of that mill value or more of the mill value. And then maybe also Dimulich, but it would be a pretty different build to be really all in. I tested the See the Truth bug yesterday. As of yesterday, they hadn't fixed it. I missed your Founding Third Path Phoenix League. So, Game 1 was awesome. Game 1 was really awesome. We crushed 4-color Omnath. We had like a super duper powerful turn. Founding the Third Path was looking great. And then we tried to flashback See the Truth with Founding the Third Path. And we only got 1 card instead of 3. We confirmed with the judges in the chat that you're supposed to get 3. We only got 1. I'm going to concede here. We only got 1. Yeah, in paper, I think that it's, you know, I mean, it obviously works in paper, so I'm even like kind of thinking about playing it in my paper RCQ this weekend just to like actually get to play test it. But it is also the last paper modern RCQ this weekend, so maybe I should take it a bit more seriously. Deck tech for IC, I play bad decks. If you post a link in chat, I can take a look. Glim seems like a great deck. Yeah, Emrakul's just for the mill matchup, which is a very tough matchup. That recently got an upgrade with Founding. Although I haven't seen it yet. Grixis Rise, baby. Rise Fall. 4 Rise Fall in the main deck, and not a care in the world. Oh, mill is... it's for the mill matchup, chatters. For the mill matchup. I think I'm going to counter this. Well, I play bad decks has submitted another bad deck. Obnixilus Adversary is not a playable modern card outside of sacrifice decks or decks that are looking to or decks that are looking to have a sideboard card for the burn matchup. This is not a good card to play in your modern deck as just a 3-drop. Neither is Rise Fall. Rise Fall has always been kind of like a cute techie card that players like because it's really fun. But both modes are underwhelming, and this is not true for every single card in the format. This is not true for every single card in the format, but as Modern has evolved and grown, it has become definitely the case that this format is less about versatility and more about power. Versatile cards like Rise Fall that have 2 underpowered modes, we have 2 modes, it's just like this is like a less important kind of card to be playing these days. That being said, there are still playable modable spells, but you know, ones that are more powerful than Rise Fall. You also have, I think, you've jumped through 0 hoops to you have 4, 2, 1, 3, 0. So I don't know, like you're playing Avon Stabber, you're almost never going to get the 5 or more values in the graveyard with no enablers here. Okay, the Surgical, my Archmage's Charms now. It is going to be incredibly, incredibly difficult to get the Heartstabber as a 3/3. But I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Let me know your thoughts. It's been performing well so far. Yeah, it's tough because you know every time you do a deck tech, you're like, well, you know, I play bad decks, but it's like I don't know how to help you. I don't know how to offer insight when you know like how where do we want to go from here? You know, ooh, so we're hoping to draw land. 1 mana Leyline Binding. I do like Gaedron, but it's like you have to scrap this, you have to scrap Snap, you have to scrap Seasoned Pyromancer. Also is like these are all worse than Ragavan, Death Shadow, Seasoned Pyromancer, or Dragon Rage's Channeler, Ledger Shredder. These are like all worse threats than those cards. 4 terminate. You have 12. You have 12 targeted removal spells, which is too many. You're going to be too weak against decks that are resilient to creature removal. You don't have nearly enough cards to the sideboard to bring in to cut your fatal pushes and terminates in the matchups that they're dead. Your mana is very shaky, playing red and black mana spells on turn 1 and double blue on turn 2 and red and black on turn 2. It's going to be functional, but I also would never play a Fiery Islet in a deck like this. Ooh, Tasha's only hit 7 cards. Thoughts about the viability of Leyline Binding? I think Leyline Binding is unlikely to make the cut in Legacy, or at least Legacy as I remember it. It's just like that. It is so bad against Wasteland that I have a hard time imagining that it is going to be a playable card in the format. Oh no, I don't have I only have 1 fetchable left. I don't have my Triome anymore, but I could still binding this and play Chalice on 1 and only have 19 cards left in the library to win the game with. Were you planning on testing See the Truth and Faithless Salvaging over Faithful Mending? In any Phoenix list ever, I would play Faithless Salvaging over Faithful Mending. Salvaging is also a card that it has to deal with an unbelievable amount of slander. But Salvaging is a better discard enabler than okay, I'm gonna concede. It is a better discard enabler than Mending. The fact that it allows you to go turn 2, set up, turn 3, start your turn with a 0 mana Rummage makes it so consistent that you can Dimmy Lich and Phoenix on turn 3. Okay, let's get some sideboarding going. I'm gonna bring in the Emrakul, gonna bring in the Disputes. Bring in the Dovin's Vetoes. Narset might be fine. But yeah, there's no Phoenix Shell where I would want to play any discard enabler that's currently legal and modern over Salvaging. And in any Phoenix deck, I would play for Salvaging. Okay, I'm gonna cut a dress down. Solitudes is like actual ways to win the game are kind of important. They're not great to do early. I should probably bring in the extra chalices. I bet we can cut the verdicts. I think I want all the prismatic endings. Can probably go down to like 2 or 3 Leyline Binding. Bring in the Voice of Beyond. It's just like not good in the matchup. Any advice for somebody who's new to modern MTGO investing first deck? I would recommend using a rental service, Mana Traders or Card Hoarder, to rent your deck instead of buying it initially. I'll play the Narset too. We'll go down to 2 binding. Play 62 cards. Yeah. I usually recommend playing between 1 and 3 extra cards in your deck if you're not like super low on lands. So this is because I have the Emrakul in the deck at the moment, I'm not particularly afraid of Archive Trap or Crabs, so I'm going to be fetching without much fear here. Do you think binding would be good in 5-color Domain Zoo? Yes, I think any deck that it can, like, yeah, in any domain deck, you're going to want to play 4. I don't think that's a super duper hot take. Wow, that's snap resolved. I think Leyline Binding is very, very good, I think, and it is maybe not going to be the card that enables Domain. Maybe I should play the island here. Enables Domain Zoo to be as good as the player base wants it to be. But it is a good good card, a good upgrade. So there's an interesting build of Domain Zoo that we played against the other day. It was playing the full 4 copies of Might of Alara and the full 4 copies of the other Might of Alara that I can't remember. Apparently you can just play 8, which gives +1/+1 to your creature for each domain that you have. And so that card seems to be particularly good if you put it on your flying Sign of Draco or your 2-mana or your new 2-mana trampling domain creature. Dude, they just have all 1-drops, I guess. And so I have been trying to work on it. However, you know, you're playing Tribal Flames in theory, you're playing Leyline Binding in theory, you're playing a lot of non-creature spell, and you're playing these 8 pump spells, and so when you're playing 8 pump spells, you need your deck to be mostly creatures, and so I've just kind of been having a hard time finding a good split of like these, like, you know, creatures and non-creatures. Maybe play like 6 pump spells or something, but I'm working on it. My opponent has not cast a spell this game. Have I tried binding in 4-color? No. I honestly, like, I try not to do this. I try to not, like, let deck biases prevent me from playing an archetype on stream, but if I'm being honest, I really don't like to play the 4-color Omnath deck. And it's also like definitely true, and I try not to let this factor into my decisions for what to play on stream either, but players also really, like, 4-color Omnath is the least popular deck you can play on stream. People really do not like to watch it either, so and also I'm sure plenty of other players are going to be playing that, working on it, whatever, but I think I'm not super likely to play it on stream. Maybe I'll play it at like a, you know, tournament or something. My opponent has just not, they haven't scooped, they just are letting me do whatever I want. Okay, bounce there. Okay, they do something this game. They activate Oboro. This is still a game that we're playing. Opponent maybe subscribes to the Reed Duke school of thought. Although I think even Reed would, pack it in here. I'm not gonna activate any abilities. But Leyline Binding and Bance Jorion, I think that's likely a good place for it too. Likely a good place for it too. I would see it having maybe a slightly bigger cost than in this deck, because you have to play Prismatic Vista usually, which can't get Triome, and you're an Ice Fang deck, so there's going to be some tension with Domain and Ice Fang, I think. I'd have to think about it a bit more. Okay, I'm just going to click Submit. It's nice that we didn't have to show the Emrakul that game either. Keep this hand. How's Binding felt so far? I think Binding is great. I mean, it is, you know, at the end of the day, just a removal spell, but it is a really, really good one. I'm gonna dispute this. I think I like disputing. It's just like so bad if they have a second crab and I don't dispute. Oh, yeah, they maybe know about Emrakul because I didn't hear. Right. Good guess. Or good point, rather. I'm gonna shock. My life total is like completely irrelevant. I do have a lot of basics in this build, which is nice. Get basic planes, just cast Narset this turn. Give another Archive Trap? No Archive Trap. Turning off their draw 3 is kind of nice. Get a Fond Raveler. Emrakul very notably going to the bottom of the library. I don't know how I feel about that. Fractured Sanity. Like if they Tasha's me, things could get kind of dicey. They also maybe just like will let me draw my my deck, you know. Probably be fine. I can maybe just like plan to be able to discard the Emrakul to hand size. Because it's not the bottom anymore. Okay, so I should force this. I could force this because they might be able to hit the Emrakul because it's like bottom 16, although not super likely, I guess. So I want to try to slam to fairy here. I don't find my land. I don't think I need to slam the Jace. If they cast a Fractured Sanity, I put 4 cards underneath the Emrakul, so that should hit it. I want to surgical this. Obviously, if it's Solitude in my hand, which is kind of my win condition, but stopping them from seeing the Emrakul also feels pretty relevant. Okay, now I'll play the Jace, and I'll plus just try to fade the exactly Tasha's. If they're sandbagging a Tasha's, good for them. I'll just leave that on top because it's not Tasha's. Still have actually plenty of islands left in the deck. So there's one. Affinity, Thief of 29 Minds. I think they should have Field of Ruin at end of turn, because if I Jace them, they would get to shuffle. Yeah, they can draw an Archive Trap. It's like so suspicious if I put this on top, but it also, like, you know, is a favorable card for them, for me to cast here. So I didn't draw the Emrakul right there. I maybe kept a bit of better track. Okay, great. We definitely know that our opponent is not one to concede, though. Maybe get a White Source to Solitude. Doesn't really matter. I declare us to be in garbage time. I guess we should place this first, because if I draw, if I draw Emrakul, I kind of want to just brainstorm it back in. Hi, Athena. Yeah, middle of the mill deck, huh? Do I even bother plussing to fairy? Okay, I'll plus it. It's like an ending their crab. If they play one, they did just shuffle the one away. One of Casman up to uptick, and I said, "Oh man." I remember it was, I think, Singles who donated for like multiple Casmina control decks back when I did dono decks. Well, I could ultimate this Jace to win the game, or I could ultimate to fairy and win the game later. I'll just win the game now. Yeah, Lucy is just the best dog in the world, or one of the best dogs in the world. Sorry, Athena. She's getting along well with everybody. She listens. She did start chewing on this chair here, but it is her chair, I guess. She's very good, very sweet, just a good fit. She's fitting in really well. Athena is here. I don't know if she's just tired of playing, but she's hanging out. And it also fits, like, Lucy, like, is a very affectionate, very, like, a snuggly dog, and Athena's a husky, and so Athena's idea of snuggling is, like, just sitting at your feet.
Yeah, the more pets.
Yeah, more pets, softer. We've named her Athena too. Did you adopt from the pound? No. So it's kind of like a long story, just like how we got Athena. But she was a dog in need of a home who was not in a good home, and now she's got a good home.
Yeah.
Why no Snapcaster? No audio. Good question. Good question. I'll DM you. Seismic, the gifts of MTG bot. Thank you. Put it on a Moldifor. Got a counter spell. Feeling good. Is she chewing at it again? Yeah, she was. Oh wait.
Come here,
Oh, it's the blue-white control mirror, but they mulligan to 4. Really, really lucky for us. Unlucky for them.
You can point the camera at her.
Thank you, Seismic. Doing the good work. Well, I'll put the camera in there. Yeah, there's Lucy, there's Athena, there's my cup that Esther got me that says Dog Dad.
And now it is true times 2.
Yeah, now I need a second one. Well, this doesn't do anything. Rakdos Shadow right now is a playable deck. It's so for Rakdos, for Shadow decks, it's like really, it doesn't cost you very much to splash one color. As far as Rakdos Shadow, like I think you can play like a really aggressive version with Scourge of the Skyclaves, and I do feel like that is a possibly a somewhat underplayed strategy, but I do think it's not amazing. There's maybe an argument for using Archmage's Charm to counter, so I could try to go Teferi with Counterspell up, but... Ooh. But like, Leyline Binding being 1 mana, answering any of their permanents, I don't think there's much I'm too scared about them tapping out for. Yeah, so maybe they're going to Leyline Binding my Teferi, and I'll just Leyline Binding their Leyline Binding. Just absolutely brutal for them to mulligan too. Okay, we get to bring in Voices from the Void too. I don't know if this is good. I think it's like at least like a cute fun of, and I think it is like legitimately good for the 4-color Omnath matchup. Okay, so we're gonna have to play some amount of dopey cards. I don't think I have 15 lands at tap for mana. I might though. This was not really the plan. 13, yeah, okay. November, cool. Yeah, I think the fact that ending answers to Time Raveler is worth playing like more of these cards than any other one. We can like cycle Dress Down as a one of. I don't want to play Supreme Verdict. What do you think has changed about the context of Modern Control Mirrors in the past 5 years that makes me not want to keep my fetches uncracked now? So I think that you are going off of some kind of heuristic. Don't crack your fetch lands in the control mirror. And in that situation, I'm wanting to draw spells and not lands. I'm way ahead of a opponent who is mulligan to 4. I have a very painful mana base, and I'm trying to get my colors into play tapped. I think that a lot of times players hear somebody say something like don't crack your fetch lands in the control mirror, but like in this spot I need to get my triome, you know. Every situation is different, and these kind of heuristics I think in the long run can sometimes be harmful to players who are in the habit of doing something all the time in a matchup, but in the reality it's like a lot more nuanced if you should or not. Because if I draw 2 off this Archmage's Charm, I would have to discard a card. I'm just gonna get a tap Triumph here. Unimpressed Infernape. I think it was 6 months. Glad you're liking the YouTube. Yeah, Lucy is such a sweet dog. It's been very cute. Lucy follows me or Esther around all day, and then Athena follows Lucy around all day. So we're just all all together all day. So this is probably going to be a spot where I'll draw 2 now, so I can go next turn to Fairy with Counterspell up. We'll see if they do anything, though. If they draw... Yeah, this means that they're going to have to go to discard. So I don't want to counter this, since I'm happy to just let them go to discard here, and me not play anything if they do. So, but also because they have to go to discard, they're more likely to play something, so... And I have double Counterspell to maybe win this fight over a Fun Raveler or something. Triple Counterspell would be really nice, or Counterspell Dispute. Dingo streaming with the similar seem very strong. Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be a good archetype. Kind of fun. That's our third and final fun Raveler. If they counter this, I don't know if I'm supposed to fight over it. I probably am. Just like getting to make sure I resolve this is just the biggest deal. Oh, okay. Well, can't counter that. No decisions. Opponent passing back. Yeah, I don't love just like I don't think I'm ever resolving Teferi here, and with me having like multiple instant speed draw spells, I think it's better to like just cast one of these on their instep. I'm not going to counterspell this. I'll just try to maybe bounce out Teferi if I can stick that this next turn. Should I invest 2 weeks in learning a new deck before Paris GP or just play Blue-Red if I play for months? You have time to learn a new deck if you think that there's a new deck that you want to. Blue-Red is also fine, but... Listen, nobody has ever, you know, it's never like, I think I'm going to register Murktide for this modern tournament, and then people take their glasses off and they look at you, and they just start clapping. They're just so proud of you, and like, that's genius. Murktide in a modern tournament. I would never have thought of that, you know. It's like a fine deck, but like you're really just not going to get anybody with it. It's not like a fantastic metagame option. Every single opponent you play against is super ready to face against you. You literally can't play a matchup without an opponent having played against your deck 1,000 times. It's a good deck. It's a fine choice, but if you feel like you have some interesting tech or innovation, you know, there's always that option. The Force? They tapped the mana where they kept their mana so they can't have a 1-mana permission spell. Oh, they have a Subtlety. Okay. Do I bottom the Teferi? Yeah. I think so. What do they pitch? They pitch an Archmage's Charm. Leyland Binding is interesting. Is there a reason not to counter the first counter again? Is there a reason to counter the first counter again? Title's Tracker, think with the 15 months? It should be exactly the same. I don't think you're overthinking it. Yeah, Binding for the Solitude. Where some other common MTG heuristics that are detrimental to new experienced players. You know, never mulligan a one-lander is super common, but there's a huge range of keepable... Or never keep a one-lander, there's a huge range of keepable one-lane hands. Catatonic Walrus, think of the 20 months. Appreciate you. I guess I'm struggling to think of like another good example, I guess, but... There's like when you're teaching someone Magic, these kind of heuristics are really helpful. But I do think that like once you master the game and you have been playing for a long time, it at some point becomes time to like unlearn these things. So my opponent must have a Typhoon if they're going to not cast that Solitude again. But I have like plenty of answers to that. Walrus 20 months, Poison with the 4 and Skill Wrap with the 17. Thank you, everybody. I know, dude. The control mirrors in Modern used to be just a delight, and now they're just like whatever the opposite of a delight is. If anybody knows what that is. Let's do this. Hell yeah, hell. That's it. An Undelight, I like that. I'm serious, Undelight is a word, really? Alright, vocabulary expanded, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody's, or most people's vocabulary just got expanded, I imagine. Toby, 12 months, thank you. You guys remember when all I would do on stream is play control decks? Just Just a different deck with Archmage's Charm every single day. Yeah, the good days. Those are the good days. You're assuming it's 20 years of blue-white control mirrors or 4-color mirrors. Which am I taking? I would take blue-white mirrors every day. I think that, you know, everybody has, I think, a certain style of matchup that they really don't like to play, and for me, I really dislike playing these like super slow decks. They're just all about slamming 2-for-1s into each other at sorcery speed until somebody wins. And obviously, the 4-color mirror it's deeper than that. There's like a lot of ways you can get edges in the matchup, but it is also just miserable. Keep this on the play. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I've cast more Archmage's Charm than anybody else, but maybe Yindrik has. Maybe Yindrik's still been casting charms like the last year. I haven't cast as many. It's either me or him, probably. Tron, huh? The Tron control matchup, I think, the dynamic has changed a lot since the printing of Counterspell. When I'm playing control decks and I see a turn 1 Urza's Tower, I'm just like really not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. I could cycle the Dress Down, I could save it for a Thought-Knot Seer. I think it's just better to cycle and try to actually find something to do next turn. Danny, 5 months, thank you. My deck is like infinite answers for Thought-Knot Seer. It is Eldrazi Tron though, also, which is Eldrazi Tron. Is that a 5-mana sorcery in my sideboard? It is, baby. I think it's mostly for the 4-color Omnath matchup. I might bring it in against E-Tron. Hey, listen, it's better than Mind Twist for 5 mana. Mind Twist makes you your opponent discard 4. This one lets you discard 5 for 5 mana. Oh, I guess they get to choose. Mind Twist is still random. Is it for the grindy matchups? I mean, it's for 4-color Omnath. It's like, so like what I usually don't like about the grindy matchup argument, right, is most like 4 or 5 drops in the sideboard of decks in Modern are like random 4-mana planeswalkers and stuff are just not good against 4-color Omnath, and Veil of Summer is also like not good against 4-color Omnath. So that's a big part of the teasing about for the grindy matchup sideboard is that your card is actually not good in the grindy matchups. Do you think the printing of Urza Saga allowed WotC to print Counterspell into Modern? It's like definitely way deeper than that. It's also like the fact that they printed a lot of really good 1-mana creatures and like 1-mana threats, Sentinel, Ragavan, Channeler. They printed Shardless Agent too. Really wants you to have Counterspell in the format. Yeah, it's like a little bit deeper than that, but I do think that like also lots of like uncounterable abilities like Urza Saga is one of the best examples. Allowed them to print it. No, Counterspell and Saga both came to Modern with MH2. No! No! Not the Matter Reshaper. We're dead. Half Radius, thank you for the $10. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna Deluge here. Don't need to be too scared of that Ballista. Do need to be scared of the Reshaper. Take both white cards here. Okay, I feel like Solitude the Reshaper, Plates of Fairy, hold up Counterspell is a pretty good turn. Kind of soft to Smasher, but you know. Oh, I guess I don't need to Solitude now though. Can maybe draw a different white card also, and then ending this. Your take on Rocco deck was the 5-0 today? Awesome. I really like, you know, a lot of my brews end up like that, where it's like, I like the deck, I think it's like as good as it's gonna get. It's interesting, it's probably not a tier 1 strategy or close to it, but it's like playable enough that I'm happy signing off on it, and I just always love when people continue to play the decks after that, you know. Just makes me feel very happy. Like the Oswald Fiddlebender 80 card Yorion list, which had been updated and like, you know, innovated on, but it was very similar to like a brew I played months ago. I think top 8 at a challenge over the weekend. Is Reshaper good? It's an old meme on this channel to fear the Matter Reshaper. To cry out in anguish when your opponent casts the very powerful Reshaper. Yeah, I think we pitched a Fairy instead. Pretty easy here. They put a counter on the Ballista. They don't kill the Teferi, that's fine. Yeah, an older meme, but it still checks out. But Breakfast Rock Aspire Liliana for months, top 8 Store Championship. Awesome, awesome, yeah. I think there's a lot of people like that in the chat who picked up one aspiring spike deck or another, huh? Something or another. Leyline's really good. Leyline's really good. At the end of the day, it is just a removal spell, but I think it's a pretty big upgrade for this archetype as a whole. Looks like a second Thought-Knot Seer here. Very notably, Prismatic Ending is also pretty upgraded with the domain lands. Like, I can just ending the Thought-Knot Seer. I'd probably take ending no matter what, though. Maybe their hand is soft to counterspell. Maybe they have, like, Allah's Dust or Karn. No new brew for brought back. I had some deck with brought back recently. I don't think it made it to the stream. Do I think Binding will see play in Pioneer? Maybe Binding will see play in Pioneer. I've been thinking about it more. Obviously, like, it's way worse than Fetchland Shocklands, but the reality is that the removal spells in Pioneer generally suck. There is a severe removal spell problem for Pioneer decks, and you know, they shouldn't play this chat. I guess this up's Prismatic Ending for 1 mana, but like, they have Expedition Map, and I just actually have 1/1 drops. Maybe they don't know that, I guess. I kind of like the idea of Jace minus on Thought-Knot Seer than just ending the Ballista. Yeah, but Pioneer does have Triomes and Shocklands, so I could see just a mana base of Triomes and Shocklands, and like, you get Domain pretty often. I could see that being fine. Do you need to play 5 colors for Binding? I don't know. I mean, like, I think like Niv Mizzet specifically is like an interesting choice for it. Wouldn't you rather than ping Teferi than Jace? Well, I was thinking that there was maybe something I could draw off the Thought-Knot Seer trigger that would make me not want to ending. Maybe that is more relevant, especially because my dress down's already used. Poor opponent, not knowing that there's only, I guess there's 2 unknown cards. So hard for them to play around top deck counterspell. Thank you, Radius. While waiting for Founding to be fixed, me too. Okay, 4 color Reclamation. Wish is a interesting card. I think I don't like it very much. Oh, you're playing Wish over Nexus of Fate. I'll say that is very creative. Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to get the Chalice. Definitely very creative. I don't know if I love it. Like, if this card gets discarded, I guess that's not super duper relevant. What else can you get? You can get a Typhoon, a Nexus, a Force, a Leyline Binding, a Teferi. Okay, I don't like this very much. I don't love how you have what appears to be, like, largely a Wish board. You have, like, largely a Wish board for 1 copy of Wish. Obviously, like, all of these cards are somewhat reasonable, but, like, I want to play 4 Leyline Binding in the main. I don't want to play one of my best cards in the deck in the sideboard so I can draw my 1 copy of Wish. Okay, we're up a game here, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna bring in 2 Dress Down, over 2 Chalice, 2 Veto, 2 Ending. Seems pretty. Oh, let's play the voices. Might go down to 2 Verdicts. Might go down to 1 Ending. Ending's fine, but I think especially with like Leyline Binding, you just need this effect a lot less. But like getting like specific map on turn 1 is good. Yeah, I really want to see you play the 4th Binding in the main deck. I really want to see you play the 4th Ren and 6. I feel like you could maybe go down to. I want to see the 3rd Typhoon in the main also. So maybe you're just playing 0. I think you just play 0 Fire Ice to make room for those. Katria Triumph, Rafine's Tower. Is there any way to play Ren and 6? No, there's not any way to play Ren and 6 and double Blue Source and double Triumph. It's probably going to be fine. No, it's not fine. You need to play more fetch lands. You need to cut the Council of Interest for a fetch land. You need to cut probably 2 Hinterland Harbors for a fetch land, and then 1 Hinterland Harbor for a 4th island, so you have more fetchable targets. Maybe play 5 islands for the extra fetchable target, not 100% sure. Oh, you also need a Hallowed Fountain in your Leyline Binding deck. Oh, you have the Hallowed Fountain, okay. This is the Hallowed Fountain. Hallowed down here, Fountain up here. Okay, I can keep this against Eldrazi, Tron. Yeah, but I think as far as the sideboard goes, like, you know, Wish might not be better than Nexus. It might be better than Nexus, but I don't think you need to play. You need to get the 4th Binding in the main, 3rd Typhoon in the main, I think, and then you can still sometimes grab. You can sight in your Teferi. You can. I don't love the Riveteer's Charm if the idea is that this is just a Wish target, but it's obviously not terrible. I'd probably play 3rd Beseiju over the Ancient Grudge to go with your Red and 6 plans, just so versatile. And I think these are my thoughts. Very interesting list, a list that I like, I'll say. Very creative. Alright, hold up Counterspell / Binding and get the Watery Grave for Binding here. Doctor, 26 months, appreciate you. Don't do it. Please don't do it. They did it. That's okay, we could just Binding this end of turn. Worth noting, you know, like no other removal spell is like nearly as good here. If you have Path to Exile, they get the land, Prismatic Ending, March of All the Worldly Light, don't answer the Thought-Knot Seer. I think Blue-White's in a good spot again. I think Leyline Binding is a big upgrade. I don't really feel like Blue-White was ever in a truly terrible spot, having a good Hammer Time, Murktide, and Living End matchup. It's bad against 4-color, but I've also been saying this for a long time. Like if you cut your Wandering Emperors, you play more Jaces, which is what I'm doing now. Your 4-color matchup improves a lot. I think that Wandering Emperor, in my opinion at least, has been like a somewhat poorly positioned card for a while, and then people are just kind of like, I think people have like kind of viewed Wandering Emperor as a staple that you're just like almost never cutting in your. You're almost never cutting this card in your blue-white control list, but for me, I'm almost exclusively thinking of Wandering Emperor as a flex spot that I'm not playing every single time. How the mighty have fallen, huh? Reality Smasher, Thought-Knot Seer, they used to be so fucking hard to answer, especially with Cavern. This warms my heart. This warms my heart. Average Joe, think of 18 months. I think I should hold up Counterspell. What mode of Jace is good against 4-color? The only mode that is relevant on Jace, the +2. I don't know. The best way for blue-white to fight 4-color is to land a card advantage Planeswalker. 4-color has obviously some answers to these cards, but for the most part, they are kind of tricky to answer. I don't think I'm countering this. I can just like Solitude this end of next turn, maybe. I only have one Counterspell. Maybe Kihira in hand and pitch instead. Yeah, this lets me Solitude and Counterspell this turn, and the Ballista's gonna kill the Solitude anyways. Why do they play Ballista and Eldrazi Tron? It's a construct, not an Eldrazi. There's not enough Eldrazi. Okay, we'll counter this to keep them off Tron, I think, is fine. So we'll go down to 12 here. You've got 2 cards, I've got 2 cards. I will also say one more thing about Wandering Emperor 2. I think a big part of the reason why players loved it at first and why it was performing really well at first is because it was a new card with flash that was like hard to play around, and players were not used to playing around it. Oh, they ripped the Tron land. Players were like just definitely not like used to playing around that card out of blue-white control, and I think that there was like even like it almost feels like clear to me like how I remember it. Like just seeing players play around the card more aggressively. I think it just got a lot better, or a lot worse. Sorry. The other one. Okay, we'll not play Teferi so we can hold both of these up. Did we really need to Solitude this? Yeah, I think so. Ballista is a lot of damage, you know. Ballista's a lot of damage. I don't have another answer to it in my hand. They're a deck with Reality Smasher. I kind of need to keep the life total high. Ballista's really good against the 2 Teferis that were in my hand, too. Is there a cool domain reanimator deck you could play? I really enjoyed Aether Touch, won a lot of tournaments too. Well, that's kind of where I'm at with Reanimator. I think the Aether Touch version is so much better than any other version I've ever tried. And obviously we could continue to try with like Founding the Third Path, this new domain spell, but it's my opinion that these cards are just going to be not as good as the Aether Touches deck, and you can't play the domain cards with Cottage, I believe. Or I believe that you shouldn't, which makes me... Okay, so we get to go here. My opponent's never going to see this coming. 5 mana Mind Rot, huh? We get to go this another Teferi into Draw Step, Voices the Void, into Ultimate the hero. This is a 5 mana domain. Target player discards cards equal to your domain. So I won this for 4, 5 color on match, just 5 mana. You discard 5 cards, 5 for 1. Yeah, get rid of Ballista. I guess I could have countered it though. It's I don't know. I don't really like, you know, I'm not a huge believer in this card, I'll say, but it's like at the very least interesting enough for me to want to play it here. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to Leyline Binding this. I meant to. A little bit of lost value here, huh? Oh, maybe I'm supposed to go after the temples instead of the towers on this board. Yeah, it probably was. Isn't there a better 1 for 6 mana that can't be countered, move the graveyard? That one doesn't hit creatures. I'm not playing so many creatures. Wait, where's my card? Oh no, I didn't get the card because I dressed down the Thought-Knot Seer. Punt, we'll concede. Why did we dress down? Yeah, so for the reason I forgot that I would lose the Thought-Knot Seer card. It was a huge mistake, and we'll see if we can come back. Oh, I already lost my Kihira too. Now we're running low on win cons. A beautiful sight to see all of Eldrazi Tron's lands in exile. I think opponent is composing a heartfelt and kind good game message. They're not quite done with it, so they let me take my turn. GSL's card. I have more Solitudes in the deck. I have 21 cards in the library. We'll be fine. We will be fine. Opponent, I think my opponent can't fit any manlands. So I cut the manlands so that I would have more fetchable targets than other blue-white lists. Because I'm playing more fetch lands. I think it's really important if you're playing 11 fetch lands to make sure that you're almost never going to run out of like those basic islands to pick up. Or you know, we have 5 instead of like the usual 4, but you know, and then the fetch lands are also really important to really consistently enable binding. No, chat, my opponent's not. Why would anybody in chat think that my opponent is roping? Why would they think that they're intentionally stalling because they're salty? My opponent is composing a nice, sweet, heartfelt, good games message that they're going to post in the chat. It's just taking a long time and it's hard to type and click OK every single turn. It's tough for my opponent to write their good games message and click through every turn. It may look like my opponent is stalling and trying to waste as much of my time and your time as possible, but I've been doing this long enough to know that that is absolutely not the case here. And it warms my heart to think that they are taking this much time and effort into their sportsmanship. And I think we could all learn to be a little bit more like our opponents, huh? We could learn to be a little bit more like our opponent here. I did import an Emrakul. I actually can't cast it. Opponent is quiet quitting. Good comment. I'll probably stop plussing to fairy. I don't know if there's any card I could see on top that I wouldn't give my opponent here. Because that's just kind of the sportsmanship I want to return. Can I always note? Okay, they concede. Wait, they forgot to send their good game message. They forgot to send their good game message. I mean, if I knew we were playing against like Hammer, I might keep this. We're gonna mulligan though. Okay, let's keep this. Let's put back, I think, second fetch land. Could maybe put back island instead. Wait. What day do my CP videos go up? Usually Wednesday, I think. Oh, well. These removal spells not as good against the Search for Tomorrow deck, probably. Last week, for whatever reason, I recorded a Vintage Cube video, and they didn't post it, so I think that's maybe just going to be my video for this week instead. As I'm holding the dress down for Titan, I was thinking, what if we go end of turn dress down, evoke Solitude though, to get some pressure going and maybe dig for a counterspell. BW 19 months, thank you. Leyline Binding has been very good so far. I feel like it's been very good. I mean, they're just like not that unlikely to have a Titan or a Lightning Bolt, right? Oh, that was probably supposed to, sorry, I was supposed to put my fetch land, right? Yeah, sorry, I was supposed to play my fetch. Guess we let this go. Little Pup, 11 months, thank you. I think I need to leave up the dress down for an opposing Primeval Titan. I can let them get another fetch line with this Renin 6, and then if they have Valakut, I'll Solitude the Dryad. If not, I'll maybe just untap Prismatic Ending this. We'll see what we draw off the dress down if we dress down here. Ooh, Bloodbraid Elf. Into the not most helpful Search for Tomorrow, though. I could dress down to deny haste. Definitely doesn't seem like my opponent has a ton here. Maybe I'll Leyline Binding the Bloodbraid Elf. Untap Prismatic Ending the Renin 6 and hold the dress down. Yeah, this does appear to be Scapeshift. Scapeshift as a deck has actually been fairly popular lately, or more popular than it has been, I guess. Yeah, with them being on, like, you know, the aggro plan, you can do this. Drista doesn't work on Dryad. Oh, right. I always forget that. Thanks for the heads up. I might have missed that. We could also maybe just jam Jace and Brainstorm, pitch Solitude, but it's better. It wouldn't even work because they would just ping. They also might. I don't know if they play 2 Dwarf. Mines are just 1. Why doesn't it work? Layers. It works because of the layers. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. This says this is an ability, right? Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to other types. Yes. Yes, Spike, that's an ability. Okay. I got that. And Dress Down says all creatures lose all abilities. Right? And okay, yes, that is what Dress Down says. And Dryad, I just want to double check, this is an ability? This is an ability? Yes, I've already answered you once. This is an ability. Okay. So I just wanted to double check. So this should stop Dryad's ability? No. No, it doesn't. Because of layer 3, Spike. You don't understand. It's because of layer 3 or something. Whatever that means. Whatever the hell that means. I think I'm gonna Jace plus Solitude and then Solitude this. It's actually layer 4, Spike. Whatever that means, I believe you. You forgot it. It's like, I don't know. It's like when you sit when your, you know, Infect player comes to their first Friday Night Magic since COVID started, and they sit down and they're so excited. They're so excited to play Infect. They love Magic. They're happy to be playing again. They're so happy to be playing again. They sit down and their opponent plays Plague Engineer. They name Phyrexian. They look at their Blighted Agent. They look at their Glistener Elf. They look at the cards. They're not Phyrexian creature types on the cards. And then the player says, oh no, Wizards errated these to be Phyrexians. And then the player's like, what? That can't be true. And they look it up, and it is true. And they go, oh no, this sucks. I guess I'll animate my Inkmoth Nexus. And then the opponent goes, no, that's also a Phyrexian now too. That also dies. Why, Wizards? Why would you do this to me? I'm so excited to play my Infect deck. Because fuck you is why, I guess. Yeah, I'm not joking. I'm not making this up. This is real. They did errata all of the Infect creatures to be Phyrexians. So they all die to the same Plague Engineer now. And they did so out of hate and malice. And probably some, like, real reason. Oh, that would be a good TikTok, huh? I don't know how to really do TikToks. All my TikToks are so shitty. but that's part of the fun. That's true. Crusader still lives. Yeah, Inkmoth too. Inkmoth is also creature type Phyrexian. The Eranos plant thing for your so many cards. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, it's like a flavor thing, I guess. I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's like, listen, I'll just tell me what the cards do. Let me play. I don't really care. But do I know how to explain? I do. I will say I do think it's dumb that Dress Down doesn't stop Dryad. We've had this conversation a lot, and I don't know if this opinion is popular or whatever. Who cares? But I am of the opinion that Dryad has an ability. Dress Down says creatures lose all abilities. Like there's something wrong with the rules. If the rules if some hated rule that almost none of the players understand, for some reason makes this not work. You know, I think it's dumb that the rules work this way, and judges, whenever I say this, say the rules have to work this way. There's no other way for it to work. And to that I say, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? I guess. If you say that, you're probably right. But doesn't make it less dumb. That part of Dryad is not an ability. How is this not an ability? How is this not a static ability? See Kate, so much, thank you. You have to know what the types are before you can remove the stuff from types. That is dumb. I declare that that's dumb. I declare it's dumb. You have to know what the types are before you can remove the types. A continuous effect. What's the difference between a continuous effect and a static ability? It's propaganda. I think in theory, if you fix the Dryad Dress interaction, you create a ton of very unintuitive interactions. Maybe. Again, I am too dumb to understand why this is the case, but I'm not. But I have a Twitch account. So I get to complain about it. I think one chalice for like Veil of Summer is fine. It's like 1 or 2 verdicts, 2 endings for Ren and 6 mostly. Could play Rest in Peace for Ren and 6 also. You can still ping me. Ban Dryad. Yeah, ban any card that is confusing. This is a pretty based opinion, to be honest. Yeah, the black card is 5 mana domain. Target player discards cards equal to your domain. So it can be a 5 mana, your opponent discards 5. I think it's good in this matchup. Mostly for 4-color Omnath. Then Chalice, the one of Chalice is you have no Veil of Summer as opponent. No Veil of Summers. No Veil of Summers. No, Ren and 6 is either. Damn it. Said it too late. Although I will say Leyline Binding. Leyline Binding, giving blue-white control a lot more answers to Ren and 6 into Fairy, I think is really good. Just like clean 1 mana or you're gone. You out of here, Ren. You out of here. Spike get dressed up like the professor and say exactly what you said about engineer as a mock fun video. You will get millions of TikTok followers. Millions of TikTok followers, huh? Worthless. I would rather have 1 Twitch follower than 1 million TikTok followers. But I'll take him. I'll take him. If you're offering, I guess I'll take the TikTok followers. If they're like, you know, free. It does sound like a really fun TikTok video though, huh? Hopefully no Castle Garenbrig Titan, huh? Yeah, I don't know if like anybody would be upset about that video though. I don't know why Wizards would be mad that I made a video goofing on them. I tweet goofing on them all the time. Scoop 'em 23 months, thank you. Stupid dryad of the Elysian Grove. Want to keep White Pitch for Solitude? I guess yeah, that was actually way better. I should have. I wouldn't be in this situation. Although they would have the fetch line, they would have still been able to kill Jace, right? So my opponent's resolving search for tomorrow next turn. I was like, I don't feed overload eBay. Yeah, thank you, Marv. Yeah, so I asked Reed the other day, and it turns out for the time being, we're still staying branded as Channel Fireball for the foreseeable future. We're just, you know, now a small fish in a pond full of bigger fishes that own us. Dude, I kind of like despise Hex Parasite, but okay, in a deck like this that's trying to be mono red built around sagas, you can play one Hex Parasite as an Urza Saga target. I don't think you can play any more than this. It's fine. Yo, Tia Declares War is really interesting. This is a card I'm having a very hard time evaluating. I kind of think that the card it seems to be like generally underpowered and weak. Have I played any Omnath decks on stream? I don't remember any. I played one last week, the 4-color Rhinos deck. I've also played like 4-color Omnath variants. Ooh, just dead. Like very like, you know, I think maybe pre-Modern Horizons 2 and stuff, but for the most part, I don't enjoy that gameplay very much, and that gameplay is also like 4-color Omnath is the worst deck to play on stream. People really don't like to watch it, and I also don't feel like there's a ton of room for innovation, and it's also true, like, if I'm going to try to play test and work on the 4-color Omnath deck, it would just take months, because testing Yorion decks takes an annoying forever amount of time. This is cool, though. I like Yotia's Declare War in this shell specifically.